from the standpoint of, like you said, I was there 9 years, went through everything, accomplished so much things that people said we'd never be able to do. And that, I think for me, that's what drove me in my whole career. All the naysayers, like my whole time there, of us trying to build a winning program, and for me to turn into an all-star starter, see the all-star game, come to Toronto for the first time, make the playoffs, win every type of award you could think of, and kind of trend in the right direction. And for the one person that we only lost to leave, and us not to have a chance to be able to see what that would have turned into. For me personally, then me leave, then to see those guys get to where they was going. It definitely was tough. I wouldn't even lie. It was tough to see it. Especially once we lost in the playoffs, and you sit back and you see them winning. Then you kind of feel like, damn, was I the problem? You know what I mean? Like, then you'd be like, nah, I wasn't a problem.
No. Them blue strip honeys, I can't get enough. Them blue strip honeys, all they women, I can't get enough. Taking trips across the country, I can't get enough. Give me go life, I want it, I can't get enough.
Yo, what up, the Splash Crew? Welcome to a new episode of Splash NBA Guy. And DeMar DeRozan, to me, will not be, if not, the most forgotten NBA players that I've been working really hard in this video to get out to y'all, just haven't been able to. But yes, DeMar DeRozan will be one, if not the most forgotten NBA players in our NBA history of our decade, mostly because of where he comes from. Let's start from the beginning. DeMar DeRozan was drafted 9th overall in the 2009 NBA draft. Now listen, there were, though, a lot of busts in this NBA draft, though. There weren't a lot of successful players in this draft. There were a lot more busts than success in this draft, because you look at it, there were not that many high rounder picks. And basically, in general, that year, basically, he dealt with a lot coming into the draft because he was the 9th overall pick. And again, there was a lot of buzz. And he came to Toronto Raptors, a team who still had Chris Bosh at the time. This is prime Chris Bosh. Not the Miami Heat Big Three Chris Bosh, the one who could rebound and shoot and also finish. So basically, who knows where Toronto will be if Chris Bosh stayed on their team and didn't form that Big Three, because we don't know yet. But I still say to this day that him leaving was the best decision for Toronto and him at both ends. Now listen, here's who went in this draft right here. A 6-time All-Star in Blake Griffin, a MVP and 6th Man of the Year in James Harden, a 2-time MVP, and a 3-time NBA champion in Stephen Curry. This is the draft class. These were the best players in this draft class at all. These three right here, well, four of them incorrectly with DeMar DeRozan, were the best players in this draft class. Everyone else turned out to become bust because he had a 4-time All-Star career, should have been a 6-time All-Star last year and this year too. Should have been an All-Star for both of these years, but got snubbed. Not just that, he had to deal with the rebuild of the Miami Heat Big Three with their best star, Chris Bosh, leaving them. So DeMar DeRozan was the only player left there. They didn't think of him to be the best player that year. They didn't think he was going to be anything special at that point in time. And I don't blame him really at that point. He came off of his season, though, pretty okay as for a rookie. All the rebuilding team later went to 17.6 points. His rookie season, of course, he did average. He didn't win Rookie of the Year. Neither any one of the three players up there, none of them won Rookie of the Year. This dude right here won Rookie of the Year. This dude is Tyreke Evans, who's now out of the NBA. He won Rookie of the Year. Not any of them dudes you see right there. And DeMar DeRozan's career, while not been on the level of Steph Curry or James Harden, has been a Blake Griffin career. Because DeMar DeRozan played pretty well in all of his career at Toronto's. He was the best player on that team and really built a franchise of Toronto since Vince Carter. You can say what you want. Chris Bosh and Tracy McGrady was it making people say, let's go to Toronto? Like Vince Carter said, you could win around me. You knew that. And DeMar DeRozan was making the point for Toronto Raptors fans. Like, we have a future. And he played pretty well in all of his years in Toronto. He played like he's the best player in the world. And, like, in general, if Steph Curry never made the three-pointer as popular as it should have been, I say in my eyes that DeMar DeRozan will be the best scorer we've seen in this league. Because in our era today, back in the 90s and 80s, the three-point wasn't as used as it used to be. There was in the middle shots right there. There was a mid-range shooter. And DeMar DeRozan is a great mid-range shooter. And he can shoot the three when needed. But he's a better mid-range shooter than anything. And really, that's where I go with DeMar DeRozan, him being the best mid-range shooter. I'm not going to say like Kobe or MJ. No. He's a great mid-range shooter, though. And his scoring ability is nice for what it is. Like, in general, his career will be held on what the Toronto Raptors did without him and what he did with the Toronto Raptors. He got them to the conference finals. He got them to the All-Star games in Toronto with all that stuff. You could say all of that you want to say about DeMar DeRozan. Because I will, because when people ask me later on in my lifetime, if I'm so loud, who's DeMar DeRozan? I'll say he may have been one of the best scorers, if not the best scorers we've seen in the NBA, if not for Stephen Curry. Because, not that his career was underachieved, because he's lived up to the hype. A 4-time All-Star in the draft, when Stephen Curry, James Harden, all of them, that proves that he wasn't a bust. And a lot of teams passed on him. He had a great year in general at USC. It should have been number 1 overall, in my opinion. And this is the stats he's averaging. He averaged in Toronto. Since 2012, has he not had a bad game season? And I think the thing we will hold against DeMar DeRozan is that the Raptors, they traded him for Kawhi Leonard again. And somehow out of nowhere, the Raptors magically won the championship. I don't know if they win it with DeMar DeRozan. We could say no. If Kevin Durant's healthy, I don't think Kawhi Leonard and the Raptors can win that series. But really, the Raptors, that was their best year to win it. Because LeBron wasn't in the Eastern Conference. What could happen? And when you look at Charles Barkley, what do you think about him? He's a great player, but got 0 rings. That's what we're going to say to DeMar DeRozan. AI, same thing. Great player, the answer, but 0 rings. And the player I compare the DeMar DeRozan to is Dominique Wilkins. Great player, 0 rings. That's what we will compare him to. And plus, him just being destroyed by maybe the second, maybe the first greatest player we've ever seen in the NBA. The greatest natural freak we've seen in the NBA since Wilt Chamberlain and Shaquille O'Neal. He may have been destroyed the worst by this dude. Like, his legacy has been painted in the shadows of LeBron, because unlike Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, who were in the Western Conference when LeBron was in the Eastern, he was in the Eastern Conference with LeBron, making it a lot more tougher for any team in the East to get past him. And LeBron made it simple. I really thought Toronto may actually win. I was getting scared for LeBron to beat Toronto. But King James took the worst team he's played with since 2010 to the NBA Finals again and took care of the Toronto Raptors, sweeping them in the second round. And that was like really heartbreaking for a lot of Toronto fans, because that was their best year with DeMar DeRozan. And so many sad parts go with DeMar DeRozan that year, because his final game, he got ejected in his final game as a Raptor. And like, if I was that player, I don't want to remember my career as being a Raptor player. My last game was me getting ejected and just sitting right there. Like, I totally feel for DeMar DeRozan at that point, because like, the Raptors, I believe in general, and I still believe to this day, the San Antonio Spurs won this trade. I know you can say, well, the Raptors won the championship and got Kawhi. You can say that. But the Spurs did something that we didn't think they would do. They got them a franchise player in DeMar DeRozan, a loyal player at that. A loyal player who wouldn't leave a team no matter what to come play with them. And his style of play may have been different, and which is why I say in the first 2 years, I say it's not going to go as well as we think it is, just because, first off, the Spurs, number one of all, they have Greg Popovich, and he's in a different coaching system. He has to learn to make sure players play under him. And DeMar DeRozan wasn't that kind of player that Kawhi was, or maybe Tim Duncan was. But now look at them. They're playing pretty well together. Like, they may be the 8th seed in their conference right now. Mostly because of a loss to the Atlanta Hawks. But really, the San Antonio Spurs to me are a great team this year and play a lot better. I think if not for COVID, they were my team to make the playoffs over Portland, over Memphis. If not for COVID, they were my team to make the playoffs over Portland, all of them teams right there. Because those two teams were good. But the Spurs, if not for COVID, wouldn't have made the playoffs, in my opinion. And wouldn't have made it. And we wouldn't even think about them like that. So yeah, when we think about DeMar DeRozan again, what will come to your mind? I know what will come to my mind: a great scorer, a great player, a loyal player. But the one thing that pops in our heads first, if he retires ringless, is he got no rings. Heck, even if you win a ring and you were so old and no one remembers, like Jason Kidd won a ring in the Dallas Mavericks, like with Dirk Nowitzki. Like, I don't know if many people remember that. And that's the crazy thing. Like, these players some players won rings and we don't know it because they were so old that we sometimes don't remember them winning these rings. But yeah, that's all for now, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and let me know what other video I should do next. See you guys next time.